Hey, welcome everybody. This is Colonel Stan Scrabbit from the Northeast region. I am the Director of Recruiting and Retention, and I want to welcome you. Thank you very much for coming to join me today. And I've got this running in two places. Hold on one second. Whoa, that was crazy. Whew, got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, this is going to be a crazy session. We'll see how much I can make it work, and just cross your fingers, wish me luck, because we have a lot of stuff to cover. First of all, thank you very much for coming. During this session, we are going to be not only doing a webinar, but we're also going to be doing a tweet chat. So this is going to get a little crazy, and if you can do both at the same time, let's see what happens. So today we are going to talk about leveraging social media to support your recruiting and retention efforts. And this is a powerful set of tools that if you get them right, you can do some really cool stuff. So let's start. First of all, this if you have any questions, up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you have a question button. Go ahead and drop questions, and occasionally I will come back to this and we will answer those questions to the best of my ability. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share out my screen and we're going to walk through a variety of things. The first thing I want to do is get you hooked up on this Twitter and tweet chat so we can have a side conversation along with this conversation. Like I said, this is just going to be crazy. It may be overwhelming, but it's going to be fun. So we're going to do that. So let me share my screen, and I will pop in and out of the screen sharing just to make sure that everything that I'm balancing everything. So I'm going to share my screen. It's going to get crazy real quick, and we'll go from there. So share. Okay. So let's start out with some Twitter talk. Okay, so a lot of people don't understand how to use Twitter, but we're going to use Twitter today in order to have a tweet chat at the same time that we are going out and doing this webinar. So I brought up a program called Twitterfall. Twitterfall, F-A-L-L.com. And I'm going to sign in with my Twitter account. This will allow me to look at it, and it's going to ask me to authorize this application. All right, and so now I have Twitter going, and it's thinking about what to load, and I don't have anything to load. So what I want to do is, in the searches, I want to use that hashtag I shared with you called CAP recruiting. And I'm going to put that in there and add that. And now what's going to happen is it's going to start feeding out tweets that have happened most recently. So it's going to, and Twitterfall, as you can see, just kind of like a waterfall, it starts coming down and you can keep up with the conversation, which is going to be important because we are doing a Twitter chat. So as you can see, some of these messages, I got a tweet chat coming up. That was about an hour ago. I put that in there. And now we are going to get into the business of having our tweet chat. So if you can open up another tab, another window off to the side, split your window. And if you've never done that, basically I just drag my windows off. And so I can have that running on the side. Whoops. And we're just going to make that a little smaller and have that running off to the side. And then what I can also do on my other browser is kind of bring that over to the side here. So we got two things going. Screen looks kind of crazy. That's fine. But we'll have this running in the background. Okay. So that's the Twitter chat. So what's going to happen probably here in a minute, another tweet will come up, and then every 10 minutes, we'll have another question. And the way this works is I'm going to start it off with a Q1 colon. And if you type if you want to answer that question, you start yours with A1 colon and type your answer, but always make sure that you include this hashtag CAP recruiting. Hashtags are really important in this, but the hashtag CAP recruiting will allow us that message to be filtered so we can follow that conversation. So we'll check in on this later. But a question will come up here very shortly. So kind of keep an eye on that yourself. So Paul asked me to make sure that I mention this guide before I even got started. It is the official how-to guide for CAP units on using social media. It's CAP pamphlet 152. It just came out, hot off the press, and it goes in through a lot of general guidance. So some of the real important guidance that I want to mention very quickly is this idea of social media profiles, okay? So individual social media profiles are encouraged but not required, okay? Social media is a tool, you shouldn't do it, but keep in mind, most importantly, OPSEC, mission requirements, and core values, right? Basically, don't say something that'll put somebody else in danger, and don't be a jerk, okay? That's kind of like the bottom line. Don't be mean and ugly, okay? Couple of important things about that official use, right? That you have personal use. You can go out and do anything that you want on social media, except you really shouldn't use it to speak on the behalf of CAP. If you're going to do that, use an official channel, and it's important that you get that registered in accordance with CAP regulation 110-1, and then it goes into, so it tells you a little bit about official channel. So if you're working out of your official capacity, representing CAP, do the things that you are expected to do as a CAP member, professional in Civil Air Patrol. Your personal side, you can have all the accounts you want. Just remember that you're not necessarily speaking on behalf of CAP, okay? And it shouldn't appear that you are. So either do it right or don't, okay? Kind of keep those things separate. Goes into a lot of other things about branding, and I'll let you read that. You guys can go ahead and read that. One of the other things I want to talk about that's really important is this idea of a hashtag. So tonight we are using the hashtag CAP recruiting. So hashtag, so the shift 3, which is a hashtag, and the word CAP recruiting, all one word, and we're using that. But other ones that you can use, and I use quite often, is hashtag Civil Air Patrol, all one word. Okay, that's the one I use quite often. You'll see a lot of messages for that. They recommend using that on Instagram, and otherwise use the @ symbol Civil Air Patrol on Twitter. But I tend to use the hashtag everywhere. So those are important. But if you are having a CAP exercise, hashtag CAP exercise. Talk about your exercise. You got an actual mission going on? Make sure that you're following OPSEC. Make sure that you're getting the approvals that you need. But you would use hashtag CAP mission. Okay. Hashtag CAP cadet. Hashtag go fly CAP. Talking about aerospace, things like that. Okay. So I suspect the hashtag CAP NC16 would be the appropriate hashtag to use to talk about Civil Air Patrol conference. I'd probably still go with hashtag Civil Air Patrol, okay? Those are probably the biggies, right? Some important don'ts. Politics, religion, sports, it's probably not appropriate for CAP. Don't be snarky. In other words, don't be a jerk. And I don't necessarily agree with this. Don't post someone else's material without asking permission. The idea of retweeting is actually posting somebody else's stuff. And what you're doing is you're giving them credit. So I need more clarification on that. The rest of the guideline goes in how to set up for Facebook and also Twitter and a few other things. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Hey, let's go back to our Twitter fall, and we have our first question. I'm going to pop that right back up there, and we're done with the social media guide. So my first question out there is, who are you? What do you do? So remember, you're going to type in A1:, answer that question. Remember to also include hashtag CAP recruiting. But I would love to know who you are and what you do, what unit you're with. All right, moving down my list. Oh, we're now moving into the second one, okay? Westover, thanks for checking in. And we also, second question, how have you been using social media for CAP recruiting? Okay, so that's out there. Please join in. So let's talk about some of these sites. So we have on Facebook really two types of pages that you're going to want to set up. You're either going to set up a group, okay, and the group can be public or it can be private. Groups allow for conversation for the membership of that organization. So the Southeast Region Recruiting and Retention has set up a public group that any of you can join. And they share all kinds of good information, talking about, like here, the Learn to Lead. Here's somebody who's getting promoted, information about the Tennessee Wing Encampment, right? So they're doing a lot of things. And this is really the power of Facebook, is showing things off in imagery or sharing content, starting up discussions. And there's a lot of information about this. So I can see, let's see if we can find, most of these are 3. So we got 3 people that like this. If I was to like it, I would just click on the like and share that. With that, I could use any of these other emoticons up there, but I'm just going to like it. If I wanted to, I could leave a comment about that information, and that's really important to start conversations and talk to people, being able to use that information. You want to create a dialogue, right? This is about social media. If you took the social piece out of it, then it would just strictly be media, right? But we want to be social. So when people are asking questions, it's really critical to get in there and answer their questions or start up a conversation with them and get them engaged. That's one of the keys here. All right, so this is called a group. And this is, really, I see this more internal, right? A group is really internal. People are talking about things. A recruiting and retention group would be the recruiting and retention people talking about things. The other one that you can have is a fan page. And a fan page is you are basically presenting a lot of information. There's a contact page, so if you clicked on this, you can get contact, you'd be able to contact. So getting visitors to come here so they can share in all the good things that you're doing. So typically a unit would have a fan page, for a squadron, a group. Oh, excuse me, allergies kicking in. You would have a fan page where you would put those things, dealing with promotions, parades, showing off all the cool activities. And photos would be critical to this. And we have, a variety of photos in here from different activities on this particular page. Encampments, let's see if I can find, let me go back to my home screen here, and Wyoming Wing has an encampment. More. Wyoming Wing encampment, for example, that we use this every year in Wyoming. So they announce when the applications for the encampment are coming up. And then in past encampments, or here's a story about the importance of making your bed. That was a great presentation by an admiral, former Navy SEAL. But also further down, we're showing off all the cool stuff that we were doing at encampment. And they've included videos. Here is a picture of the back of a C-130 lowering the doors during encampment, showing the capabilities of the C-130, out on the parade field. This is a great opportunity to show all the cool things that we're doing. Okay, so Facebook, a lot of people are on Facebook. Facebook also has the ability to do advertisements, and a great way to point people to CAP, show off some of the great stuff, put it in an advertisement, get people attracted to what you're doing. Okay, I don't see anybody else has contributed there yet. All right. So moving around. So that's Facebook. Twitter. Twitter I use pretty extensively. Twitter allows me to shotgun information out, and by using these hashtags, I can go out and promote information to a variety of different groups. So how do I do that? Well, one of the tools that I use is called Tweet Jukebox. So let me sign in with my Twitter account. So what Tweet Jukebox does is it allows me to put together a collection of informational tweets, and I can then tell people. So I have one called Recruiting Tips. And I just kind of actually mix these together. So I have 167 different tweets put together that will come out on a schedule. So every 4 hours and 4 minutes, a new tweet will be generated. So it will choose from those 167, and it will not repeat a tweet until it's gone through the whole list. So after all 167 have gone through, it will start again. So I'm using hashtags. So interested in hashtag aviation. There are people out there. So let's go back to Twitter and do a search. So if I look for hashtag aviation and search on that, I will find other people that are sharing to that Twitter feed. And some people follow this particular hashtag, and while they're following that, they will eventually see one of the posts that I shared dealing with hashtag aviation. And so then I tell them, oh, come learn about hashtag Civil Air Patrol. And then I have a link that will direct them to Civil Air Patrol's page, this bit.ly link. Right, so if I put bit.ly, this bit.ly link in here, it will take them somewhere. Oh, it takes them to the presentation that we did. Come learn about Civil Air Patrol. And so they can watch this presentation that I had created specifically addressing that. So I can point them, and if I look at bit.ly, Oh, wrong account. Let me switch over to my normal account. So bit.ly.com. And so I have a variety of these. I've created links for all kinds of stuff. And it will tell me if anyone's ever clicked on any of those links. These are all recent ones for kind of weird stuff. But it will show me, you know, how well certain links are doing. Some of them are not being used at all. So it's probably a wrong account. But it allows me to measure how successful I was. Let me, real quick, I'm going to drive you crazy. I'm sorry. See if there's any questions. There are no questions. Moving on. See if there's any questions here. Nothing going on. Okay. So continuing on. So Tweet Jukebox allows me to stack up a lot of information. You know, so I have this information one, 10% of the Air Force Academy new classes are former CAP cadets. And I push this out to the Air Force Academy, right? That's where they are. So if we were to look into Twitter for those guys, right, this is the official Air Force Academy, that every once in a while, my stuff will show up in there, okay? And they're doing a bang-up job of showing off their program on Twitter, using images, showing different capabilities. They've done a great job there, okay? So that allows me to, you know, using these, just pushing out these different tweets, just talking about it. But I also have used this for recruiting and retention, talking about strategies or little tactics that you could use for recruiting and retention. So I encourage you to follow me, NER Recruiting. That'll get you to me. So Tweet Jukebox, very good, powerful tool. So let me tell you about another one that I use, and it's called Google Alerts. So at the region level, one of the things that I did is I set up a Google alert that anytime the phrase New York and Civil Air Patrol show up in the news, that it'll send me an email. So it'll show me this article. But I've set that up for Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, right, to include New York. So I set it up for all the wings, and occasionally I will get these Google alerts that will tell me that I have a new article in there. So here I have this article, and it's still loading, right? So we have this particular article. So what I'm interested in doing is, you know, this is related to Civil Air Patrol. So their CAP was talked about in a number of different places. So this is a good article to share. I could just click on Twitter, and that would send that out. So let me click that on Twitter, and I'm going to also put in CAP recruiting, and let me try that again. CAP recruiting, and also Civil Air Patrol. All right, so I'm going to put in those hashtags, right? I want to make sure that it's talking about Civil Air Patrol, and I'm going to tweet this. So now it's sent off into the Twitter sphere. But when I did that, they're just going to come back to this article. So what I want to try to do is I'm going to use this program called Snipple, and I have a little tool on my toolbar called Snipple, and I click on that. Oh, and it shows that it can't show call to actions on this page. Those clever devils. Let me see if I can find something else as a good example. So I need to find an article. Bear with me, bear with me. We're getting there. Right, so here's an article that was posted, my virtual paper. And we'll see if this works. It doesn't look like it will. Nope, bad place. Darn, sorry. They don't share a lot of articles here. Okay, so this article is Dobbins Air Force Base, right? So Dobbins Airman to Academy Cadet. So with Snipple, we're going to hope it works. Yes, very good. That I can create a snip. And what it does is it will put this overlay, which if you can see it on the bottom of the screen, I'll show you here in a second. And we'll go ahead and copy this. And I'm going to drop that in there now. So now I've created this new article called, it's a Snipple article. So it shows the original article, but down here on the bottom, I have Northeast Region Recruiting. Want to know more about Civil Air Patrol? Learn more. And when they click on this, it will take them to the Go Civil Air Patrol site. But I also have this dashboard, and we'll see that latest one show up. It hasn't registered yet, but basically I've created so many different snips. How many times that the link that I created was clicked on, and then how many times they went to the Go Civil Air Patrol site. So we have different stages in this that, you know, this is a great tool for pointing them back to either your site. So you can share all kinds of articles. And I would say keep them related to what Civil Air Patrol is doing, but just say, hey, Go Civil Air Patrol, and point them back to our site. So Snipple is another great tool for getting that information out. I can go back to my site here. So let me quick Twitter follow. Yeah, here's that article I shared right at the top. And I don't see anybody else in there. Okay. So I'm thinking the tweet chat is not going to fly today. That's okay. Let me go check to see if there's any questions. No questions. And one other place that I want to check. See if there's anybody out there with comments. Nope. Art Dammers, last one. Very good. Okay. Moving on. So Twitter, let's see where I'm at with this. Tweet Jukebox we talked about. Instagram. Instagram is another powerful program where it's really imagery based, that you can take pictures. You can kind of doctor the pictures up where you've got, you know, join Civil Air Patrol text all over the picture if you want. And then you can share that. So I was at the New York Wing Conference at Lake George, and I went out and took some pictures of these fine gentlemen showing their aerospace project and put a little caption down there. Cool presentation about catapults at New York Wing Conference, and also hashtag Civil Air Patrol, right? So Civil Air Patrol can pick up on that. If I was to click on that, and I will here in a second, I'll show you what happens. But this is a program on your telephone, so you can use the camera on your phone to take pictures. So, you know, just sign up for Instagram. You know, you can take pictures, make some comments, share them. But this is a great tool for in the moment showing all the great stuff that we are doing in Civil Air Patrol. So I really recommend it. I recommend everybody getting out there, taking a picture, having a cool hashtag that they're sharing. But look at these fine folks. You know, a couple of them have recruiting ribbons, right? Here's the big crowd in New York Wing, right? Sharing the love, a little spots earners, right? Hashtag the spots. So like I said, so these things these hashtags are clickable. So if I click on this particular hashtag, here are pictures all over the nation people are sharing to Civil Air Patrol, right? That they're including that hashtag Civil Air Patrol, right? This is nice. Your face when the cadets attempts to execute a change step, right? A little bit of humor in there, right? But definitely showing off all the great people that were in there. So I can go in here and, you know, click on it that I like that, right? Give it a little heart that, you know, I appreciate the cool stuff that they're doing. I can walk through these things, talk about this, right? There's certainly talking about Civil Air Patrol. Look at this kid. This cadet, he is so proud of what he's doing, right? A big smile on his face. This, you can't beat this, right? Some other proud cadets seeing the sights, right? So very powerful. Let's get out there and take some pictures and show off all the cool stuff that we're doing. All right, let me head on back. Whoops. I think spots. I'd be curious where the spots takes us, right? Oh yeah, some proud spots winners there. All right, looking at a little bit of pride. There's some folks talking about some good stuff. Okay. Did I catch a comment in here? Nope, not yet. Okay, so Instagram, another powerful thing. Now, what you can do to combine these things is Instagram allows you to also share directly to Facebook and to Twitter. If you link your accounts in there properly, you can do this in the settings for Twitter. And let's see what I got here. Edit profile. Authorized applications. Oop, I don't have any set up for this one. Okay, but it has to be, I think, done on your phone. Okay, so I got a new tweet here. Okay, so that's Instagram. Definitely check that out and get using that. Let's see, what else? Another program that I'm using extensively is Pinterest. Now, there was nothing in the social media guide about Pinterest, but it's one of those powerful programs. So what I've done is I've set up a bunch of boards that would help with recruiting and retention. So one of them happens to be aerospace movies. Right, so here's a collection of different aerospace movies that you could reach into to find something to show, you know, at a squadron meeting, for example. Or if you're looking for cool aerospace education activities. So here's hot and cold air activities, building a sundial, different types of rockets and airplanes and kites, and you know, here's dealing with a centrifuge. Lots of cool activities, right? And I'm starting to collect them, and I'm putting them in this Pinterest site. The nice thing is I can follow other people on Pinterest, right? So if I see something that I like, you know, there's a pulley. I didn't like that one necessarily. right? Building bucket towers. If I like that, I could pin this and add that maybe to something dealing with STEM activities. And so now that's part of my collection, and somebody else could go visit my board and acquire some of those ideas from my site. Okay, so Pinterest, another great tool to get out there. So one program that I use extensively is called TweetDeck. And I use this to manage my Twitter accounts, really, because I can do a lot of different different things. I can see what I've posted. I can see what people are sharing with me. Right. So Westover, he asked a great question here. I'll answer it here, and then I'll get online and answer that. But how often should items be posted? You know, that is a good question. I would say at least weekly. So let me respond to this, right? You should post something at least weekly, okay? Showing off your capabilities. And let me throw a CAP recruiting on that, and it'll show up in the site. So let me throw that out there. So now I've gone ahead and answered that question. So thank you for asking a question. Yay. Okay. You know, Pinterest, for example, you know, when you find something new, go ahead and share it. You know, if you were in a business, then you would have a more systematic way of doing these things. But most of us meet once a week, you know, and if you can capture a couple pictures a week, that's great. And on these sites, let's pull up Facebook once again. And let me pull up like the encampment page. So when we were posting photos of cadets, one of the things that we did was encourage them to go back and tag themselves in the photo, because when they tag themselves in the photo, it'll show up in their timeline. And when it shows up in their timeline, they're able to, you know, other friends will ask them questions about that. So in our, you know, in the guidelines, one of the things that said is part of our membership application indicates that we would be able to take photos. But it also said if you have a parent or a member who says, please don't take my photo, you should do everything you can to respect that, okay? But what I don't do is I don't necessarily go in and name people, because some people don't want to be associated with their photo, and I respect that. But what I do is I let them know that the photo's out there by email, or if I see them at a meeting, and then encourage them to go back and tag their photos. And that you should do on a regular basis. So let me go back to TweetDeck. So one of the things with TweetDeck that we can do is, let me remove this, is say I was doing a search that we're going to follow this hashtag CAP recruiting. And what I could do is add a column. And now I have this column that I can monitor and follow the conversation. And anytime something new gets posted to that, I will be able to go ahead and see that and respond to that particular, to that. So I can follow a lot of different things. One of the things is, say that I wanted to follow the activity of near my zip code. So I put near : and then my zip code. and it shows me the conversation of what's going on, right? And you can look at through this and say, you know, maybe there's something just related that somebody's looking for an activity for their child, and you could say, hey, we got a CAP meeting tonight, right? And you would be able to, you know, kind of target that individual, for example. You know, so you can put searches together to kind of keep an eye on an area, and allows you to find out more about that particular, you know, area, and kind of keep, you know, maybe look for opportunities where you can post. Hey, William Angst, yeah, from Tennessee. Very cool. Thank you for checking in 31 minutes ago. If you put in the hashtag CAP recruiting, we would have probably caught this a lot earlier. Thank you, though. Thanks for checking in. So TweetDeck is pretty powerful. So let me show you another version of my TweetDeck, the one I really use. I have all kinds of columns in this TweetDeck. I have it segregated for lists. I have it segregated for everything, because it helps me sort out a lot of different things. But one of the nice things about this is, let me type in a message. Right now I am giving a presentation on social media for hashtag CAP recruiting, right? Got to get that hashtag in there, sneak that sucker in there. And if I wanted, I can share this link to them. So come watch, right? And drop that link in there. And now I can push this out, and I can send it to my personal account. I'll send it to the NER recruiting. I'll send it to my RMR COS. I can send it to my work account and my private hustle. Man, I'm going to send it everywhere. So at one time, I can send a message, and it will go to all those places, which makes this kind of a really powerful tool if you have multiple Twitter accounts, which I have 6 of them, so that's definitely multiple. Another program out there is called Hootsuite. And welcome back. Oh, and I don't have any tabs. And one of the things that I can do is include different types of accounts, right? So I can include my my Facebook account. So I'm in the, oh, they're there. So I have my LinkedIn, my Instagram. I can add Facebook, Google Plus, post to WordPress, post to YouTube, add Twitter accounts, and I would be able, with Hootsuite, just like TweetDeck, post to all those accounts. One of the other cool applications about this is that I can schedule accounts or schedule posts. So during this whole time, on my Twitter fall, I have been out posting, and you'll see like the Q4 here, and then we have a Q5. These have been coming out because I scheduled them, and they came out regularly, and I was posting without even being there. So really a powerful feature that you can schedule things, you know, as you're going on to kind of keep a conversation going. So So that is TweetDeck. Hootsuite, very similar capabilities. Each has their own power, and apparently I logged in with the wrong one, so I'm not going to mess with it right now. But we have that capability going. Let's see. Okay, so this next one would actually cost a little bit of money, but I'm going to tell you about it anyways, for those folks that are out there. So in the meantime, let me see if there's any questions. No questions. All right, turn that off. That's crazy. Let me go see if there's any comments, questions. Trying to log in BOCES. So Evelyn, you should be able to watch the video. So just click on the video and watch it anyways. I'll send a note to Evelyn here in a little bit. Okay. So Snipple we talked about. But this other one is called Post Planner. And I use this for my side hustle primarily, but it's a tool that I want to let you know about in case you wanted to schedule your information. So what I can do is I can set up a plan, and let me show you the plans first, is that I'm going to post 3 times every weekday and 3 times on the weekends, that I'll share photos, that I'll put out articles and text messages. So those are the different types of posts. And so I have all my different accounts in there. And with those accounts, you can see posts that I have scheduled to go out at a certain time. And I don't have to worry about it. It just kind of runs and puts them out at times that are best when people can see those. So I'm scheduled out to Saturday, and I have to get some more in there. I'm scheduled out for Twitter until Thursday, but I'll work on that. But this does cost a little bit, but it's a great tool that you can sit and batch information and get it ready to send out at a correct time. Another important program that I think professionals should be on is LinkedIn. So I'll sign in with my account. So one of the things that I would recommend is somewhere in here I have included down in volunteer, right, the different jobs that I have going on as a volunteer. So e-learning coordinator, director of recruiting and retention, vice commander. These other ones I have stopped, but this is a great place to put your involvement in Civil Air Patrol. But more importantly, it allows you to do searches and find people. So if I was looking for teachers, right, I would type in teacher, right? And specifically, I want to make sure that I'm looking in people. So now I find all these teachers. But what I want to do is I want to narrow this down to a specific location. So maybe I'm looking in Jamestown, New York area. So now I have all these different teachers that I could reach out to, right? We have a reading teacher, English teacher, physics teacher, right? So physics is interesting. What I could do is I could click on that individual's name, and what's going to happen is he's going to be notified that I have clicked on his name. So he's going to get a notification like who's viewed your profile. And I get to see various people that are visit my profile. So if I visited him and he visits me, he's obviously curious about that. And therefore, I could probably strike up a conversation with him. So one of the strategies is you can click on here, connect, and click on this option, friend. Anything else doesn't work but friend. And I can send us a short message saying, yeah, I see that you visited my profile. I am also, I believe in, education. We do some STEM type stuff. Would you be interested in connecting and talking about it further? And when they connect, then you can send a message. So on my work life, I have this program called Phrase Express, which has these special, I created these special signature blocks, basically. And so when I type in the phrase, come on here, LinkedIn SIG, it populates it with information that I'm going to send to the business owners. But you would have something set up like for AE SIG, if you're looking for aerospace education instructors, boom, it populates that. If they connect with you, the next one I have is called, what is it called? It's called LI follow-up. All right, so here is a longer message telling them about things that I'm interested in, all the resources, ways to connect. And this is, this could be a very powerful tool also, right? So we have, that capability. So LinkedIn, definitely having a strong profile in there, talk about who you are, some of the areas that you're interested in, what you're all about. I was messing around with this, and I probably messed too much that I don't have people linking to me or endorsing these things yet, but hopefully they will. And so I have, basically that's what I have going on for LinkedIn. Powerful tool. Let me check in on you guys. No questions there. And no, let me refresh. And no questions there. Okay, moving on. I know I'm probably overwhelming you guys, but let me give you a couple things like power tools. Okay, so these are very much power tools that you can do some cool stuff. So it's the program that I'm going to talk to you about is called IFT. And with IFT, what it does is you have recipes. So let me show you some of my recipes that I have. Okay. So I have these special lights at home called Philips Hue, right? That when it turns midnight, it will turn off all the lights. Okay. At least the lights that I have programmed. If it's 6 p.m. in the evening, it'll turn on the lights. So I have the lights go on. I use this program called Slack. So what it does is every day it will go grab the weather report and post it in my Slack. And so I know what the upcoming weather is and got a feel for that. if I have any new favorite tweets, then that if I go out there and I favored a tweet, right, something that I liked and I want to look at later, it will automatically send it to Evernote. Here, if I'm looking at a specific hashtag, right, so I could have set it up for the CAP recruiting. So anytime anybody tweeted and had that particular hashtag, I could create or collect it in a Google spreadsheet and collect that information, okay? And probably most importantly, if the Steelers score, then my lights flash on and off, right? So that's kind of nice. And also, if I post something in my on my blog, it automatically sends it to LinkedIn, okay? Hey, I got a connection request from Art. Isn't that nice? Let me go check that out. Absolutely, I will accept that. Thank you, Art. Okay, so let me unshare, stop sharing, and I'm back. Holy smokes, we went through a lot of stuff, and I didn't even share some of the video stuff that's going on, like BlabIM and Periscope, and Snapchat is another one. I still haven't wrapped my head around Snapchat, but it's out there, and it's kind of important. Also, I didn't talk about YouTube. YouTube is also important. So I'm going to share again. Sorry. We're going to go back to YouTube real quick and talk about that. So YouTube is another powerful channel that we can go out and post things on. So here's my YouTube account, and I'm on, I have a channel and I have a variety of playlists. So here, for example, is the Northeast region recruiting and retention. So I've collected these videos. So this particular one, this was our very first presentation, recruiting and retention, and I will stop that. 1,021 views, right? People have come in and said hello, and also 1,021 views, and that was done in January, right? I am floored. This one has 350 views. Why people are leaving Civil Air Patrol. Here was our virtual recruiting and retention presentation, 131 views. This was cohort recruiting, 305 views. But the cool thing, you know, and this one is going to be added to that series. Really cool thing that we can add this kind of information, that you can build these playlists, and from those playlists, you know, you can share those particular playlists out. So what else did I have in there? Various playlists. I got all kinds of playlists. View 30 more. CAP safety, right? Here is a variety of safety videos that I pulled together that I wanted to show during our units, talking about safety in different ways, you know, stupidity in the workplace, you know, variety of different ways that we could do that. Also for the SLS CLC, I had a collection there. But if you just looked up Civil Air Patrol, right, there's Civil Air Patrol, the 1940s. So 1950s, some historical videos talking about our Civil Air Patrol. We can look at encampments, recruiting videos, right? Folks that have gone in and put together recruiting videos. Matter of going in and looking at those various videos, seeing you know, if something works for you, and share it. Go out and share it on these other social media sites, and I think you will, you know, it'll do cool stuff. But the big thing is you can create playlists. You want to talk about leadership stuff? There's leadership stuff out there. Build playlists. You want to do aerospace stuff? There's aerospace. Emergency services, there's those videos. Build these various playlists to help show at your meetings or show potential members those various capabilities. So a lot of good stuff out there that we should be using and that we are not using to its full advantage. So I encourage you to go out, check this stuff out. If you got any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to show you how to use these things. It may seem scary, it may seem overwhelming, but like anything else that we've done, one, there's a little bit of excitement to it, but two, learning, I mean, that's what learning's about. It gets you excited and gets you going. Yes, it can be frustrated. Yes, you can make mistakes, but if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying. So get out there, pull out your camera, get on your computer, go work out loud, right? Work out loud. Show our volunteers all the cool, you know, show what we're doing as volunteers, right? Volunteer out loud, right? Go out and share. So anyways, I'm going to look for some questions here if anyone has shared any. I do not see any on the Twitter fall. I don't see any here. I am going back to here and I don't see any. Doing a quick refresh. No. And I don't see any questions here. So thank you very much. It's probably one of those crazy presentations showing a lot of stuff. I will be talking about this stuff again at the national conference. So, you know, kind of bear with me. We'll kind of go through it again and we're just going to have fun with it. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Shoot me a note if you thought you got anything out of this, right? Put it in the chat. Send me a tweet, whatever. I appreciate you coming out and taking a look. Bye for now.